Hi everyone, we've got the usual Monday roundup for you today as Celtic get into a brand new week, and it's a pretty big week for Ange's men. I hate to do this, but we're actually getting towards the next international break. I think a fortnight from now we'll be back on to talking about Scotland. Well, not us, but you know, in general people will be. Celtic will be an afterthought at that stage for some. So let's just enjoy Celtic right now while we've got them. As I say, roundup video today, loads to get our teeth into, loads for you to watch and I'm sure comment on below, of course, if there's anything I raise that you take exception to or even, you know, shock, maybe agree with, just let us know in the comments below. I don't even need to say that anymore because you're also forthcoming. I'm going to start by chatting about Mikey Johnston, you know, that winger who we'd all kind of forgotten about, put to the back of our minds. He has come back, you know, onto the scene at Celtic and he is absolutely flying. Yes, he's not started a game competitively yet this season, but you can tell that he is going to be a big part of this campaign if he can stay fit. And it's actually his fitness that he's been talking about in a recent interview with the Daily Record that went out, I think, on Sunday evening. And he has labelled the last wee while as the toughest part of his career so far, which I thought was pretty interesting. He gave a bit of an insight into the fact that he'd worked so hard over the summer, basically had taken no time off at all to get himself fit and up to speed, ready to make an impact for Ange when Ange came into the club. Now, he actually did start the pre-season games and it was the Bristol City friendly, I think, when his hamstring went. And obviously ever since then, he's been fighting to get back to fitness. But it's been a particularly tough period for Mikey Johnston. Interestingly enough, he actually credited Joe Hart with keeping his morale high and being important for his, you know, morale during what has been a pretty tough time. So yet more evidence of what Joe Hart has brought to Celtic, not just on the pitch, but, you know, particularly off it. Johnston also spoke about the criticism that he's received for not being fit. Now, he didn't actually name the Celtic support here as who he was referring to. He could have been referring to, you know, other fans or the media or whatever. But I did get the impression he was talking about certain parts of the Celtic support who have been particularly critical of the fact that he seems unable to stay fit for a substantial period of time. Now, I think I said a few weeks ago, I think it was after the Livingston game when he pulled up injured, or maybe it was in training after that game. I spoke about the fact that, yeah, I get that it's frustrating from a Celtic supporter's point of view. Listen, I'm frustrated whenever Mikey Johnston can't play because we know how talented he is when he can play. But if it's frustrating for us, imagine how frustrating it is for him. You know, this is a guy who's trying to earn a living as a footballer and be the best footballer he can be. And, you know, he's not getting injured deliberately. So I kind of take exception sometimes with people laying into someone who's having injury troubles. The other thing I wanted to touch on was the fact that he actually mentioned the new head of sports science at Celtic, Anton McElhone. Now, if you watch our videos, you will know that I did a big in-depth look at him very recently. That's up there for you. But Mikey Johnston clearly thinks that McElhone is having a good impact at Celtic so far. This is what he had to say. He said, "I've needed a bit more time to get myself back up to speed and also to make sure I don't pick up any more injuries. It's been good. I've been working hard. The international week came at a good time for me. I was able to put in some strength work that I wouldn't necessarily just get from training. The new sports scientist has come in and helped me a lot. We've got nutritionists at Lennoxtown, not just him, but obviously I've had to try and live a bit like a monk recently so I'm not getting any muscle injuries. A player like me is going to be a bit more susceptible to those kinds of injuries because I'm a bit quicker, but he's helped me a lot." It's encouraging to hear that McElhone's influence is already being felt at Celtic. If he's helping Mikey Johnston and Mikey Johnston's feeling he's having an impact on his rehabilitation, return from injury, then he'll be helping, you know, the likes of Christopher Julian, James Forrest, and even, you know, the uninjured players at Celtic. So it's just great to finally have someone you know, as a head of sports science. It's a bit of a shambles that we went so long without one, but that's another topic for another day. Johnston is just electric at the moment. Whenever you watch him, he just is so sharp, so alert. The big thing for him now is going to be doing that consistently and doing it when he's starting matches as well. He's actually had a run very similar to what he's doing right now before. At the end of 2019, he came back from one of his injuries, and I remember him scoring a brilliant solo goal away to Ross County, and then I think a few days later scoring another brilliant kind of solo goal, a 1-2, and he kind of struck it in the corner in the Europa League game at home to Rennes. He'd never kicked on from that at all, despite looking so sharp. So hopefully this time under Ange, he can find that consistency and can become a Celtic player that you can hang your hat on. I know we've already got Jota on the left, and Abada's been good in general so far. Kyogo can play on the left as well. But having extra options isn't going to be a bad thing at all. It would be a great problem to have. So that's Mikey Johnston. Elsewhere, a kind of strange one that I saw earlier today was Olivier Ntcham being snapped, to use a tabloid term, wearing Celtic gear at a local Swansea gym today. I don't really have anything else to add on that one. I just find it a little bit weird, if I'm honest. Ange has been talking about Greg Taylor and his return from injury. He says he's still, quote, I'm just thinking about doing the accent, definitely not doing the accent, it's never happening again. He's a good couple of months away, apparently, Greg Taylor. So with this being the 25th of October, I would suggest it's probably 50-50 that we'll even see Greg Taylor before 2022. Given that we have a winter break effectively at the start of January for 2 or 3 weeks, it would probably make a lot of sense for Celtic just to kind of take it slow with Greg Taylor. I don't think it's a major worry, the fact that he's out, because we do have other options that can play left back. Maybe none of them are complete standout options at the moment, but we do have several options. Balling goalies there, Liam Scales is there, Adam Montgomery, and of course Josip Juranovic played left back on Saturday as well. Obviously in Europe, Bolly isn't registered, and I kind of feel, given what Ange's done so far, that we may see a good bit of Juranovic at left back in the Europa League and the high profile matches, and maybe games against like Hearts and Rangers, etc. But we do have plenty of options there, so I wouldn't be too worried about Greg Taylor being out until 2022. Staying with the left back area, and I say we have plenty of options, but Celtic are seemingly still keen to bring someone in January, and that guy may be Lee Buchanan, the England under-21 international who plays for Derby County. Now, it was suggested recently that we had actually scouted Buchanan last week. I think Mick Doherty, the Celtic scout, had gone down to watch him play for Derby, so that may be one to keep your eye on. I'm not going to do a huge, deep dive on Buchanan at this stage, but if Celtic's interest does become more concrete as time goes on, I will, of course, do a video on him or whatever. Left back's an interesting one at the moment because we do have loads of options. You're just kind of waiting on someone, taking it by the scruff of the neck and saying, this is my position. Is it going to be Bolly? I think it's kind of difficult for Bolly when he's not in the Europa League squad. Is it going to be Montgomery? Probably not yet. Is it going to be Liam Scales? Wasn't even in the squad on Saturday. Is it going to be Josip Juranovic? Who knows? It's again, it's nice to have options. Celtic support have been praised once again for their donations to the food bank collection that took place on Saturday around the St Johnstone game. It's the first time in 2 years that Celtic have been able to do an in-person event, and the pictures posted by the foundation showed just how many bags had been left. I was actually there before the game on Saturday as well. My good pal Lewis works in the Celtic Foundation, and he was really, really pleased with the numbers of donations, both food-wise and financially as well, that they brought in from Saturday. So that was great. If you feel you missed the opportunity to contribute to the food bank collection on Saturday, then you can still get involved by donating cash to the foundation's virtual food drive. I will link that below. In terms of Wednesday night's game against Hibernian, a reminder, in case you needed it, that the match is not on Sky Sports. I think they're showing MK Dons against Fleetwood Town or something like that instead. However, Hibernian will, for the third time in about 11 months, be showing a Hibs versus Celtic game on their pay-per-view service. I actually logged on earlier onto the website, the Hibs pay-per-view website, just to see the price, £15 by the way, and I was shocked and also saddened to learn I already have an account with them. So that just kind of sums up what a shambles this is. Thanks, Sky. Okay, that's me away. But I will be back tomorrow with a preview to the Hibs versus Celtic match. Please don't forget to sub in the meantime. We are really on the cusp of 21,000 subscribers. So if we could do that as soon as possible, that would be much appreciated. Thanks everyone, and goodbye.